In this video, I will explain how to set up sensory stations for your students. The texts in this module are rich in sensory details. Throughout the Wit and Wisdom module, students are asked to analyze the texts to identify and explain the sensory details used, as well as apply using sensory details in their own written works. In the unit's core novel, Hatchet, the main character Brian must rely on his senses in new ways to survive in the wilderness alone. The author includes many sensory details to help the reader understand and connect to Brian's experiences. This hyper-development of his senses builds on his intuition and helps to ground him in moments of panic and uncertainty. In this arts integrated activity, the goal of creating sensory stations is to encourage students to be more observant of their environment and how elements within their environment impact their physiological and psychological experiences. Connecting sensory activities to theater arts experiences will help students build spatial awareness, develop self-regulation, and understand how to manage overstimulation. As a result, students will also learn how to be more attuned to the energies of their scene partners, the audience, or even the character that they are trying to portray. These theater-integrated sensory activities will ultimately help students develop inference, empathy, self-awareness, and compassion. Through the use of prompts and writing exercises, students can create a personal sensory vocabulary that they can later use to help reduce stress and anxiety or activate their minds and curiosity. Considering neurodivergence. Sensory activities can have the potential of feeling overwhelming for some students, especially those with neurodivergence. When creating these stations and introducing these activities to your class, make sure that you're giving space for those who may struggle with overstimulation. We suggest taking your time exploring each of the 5 senses by focusing on integrating one station a week. To set up the physical space, create multiple stations throughout the classroom that have options for student interaction. Some students may prefer to experience the sensory activity in privacy and away from others to avoid overstimulation. Others may not struggle with feelings of being overwhelmed and may do well participating in the sensory activity at their desks or in small groups. Giving your students options is a great way to ensure that everyone who is participating feels comfortable and safe throughout the activities. Be aware of your students' allergies before creating stations. Provide memory cards, paper prompts, and writing utensils for students to record their responses to the sensory activities. Provide excerpts from the book that connect each sense to Brian's experiences. I'll describe for you now how to create 2 of these sensory stations for your students. A full description of all 5 sensory stations is included in your resource packet. To create a smell sensory station, first, collect scented items to share with your students. We suggest selecting items from nature to align with the texts. Alternatively, essential oils can also work, especially if you want to dilute the scent using a carrier oil. Our recommended mixture is 1 drop of essential oil for every 3 to 5 tablespoons of carrier oil. 1 drop is usually more than enough for any scent, especially for a controlled activity such as this. You can further dilute the smell by using cotton balls or swabs, or even diffuser sticks in a small container with the oil mixture at the bottom. Cover the container and poke a hole at the top to keep the scent from escaping or the oils from spilling. Some recommended scents for this activity include pine, lavender, lemongrass or lemon or another citrus scent, cedarwood or spruce or another tree scent, eucalyptus or peppermint. Next, share the scents with your students. To limit overwhelm, we suggest focusing on 1 scent a day during that week that you choose to explore the sense of smell. Pacing the scents in this way will prevent any overstimulation from occurring. It will also give your students time to observe and process how their bodies and minds respond to each scent. Then, provide prompts for deeper analysis. What images do you think of when you smell this scent? How does this scent make you feel? Does it calm you down? Or does it wake you up? Does this smell make you think of any memories? Describe what that memory is in 1 or 2 sentences. Next, let's talk about touch and feel. At a young age, most children explore the world around them through touch. There are a couple of ways that you can introduce this activity to your students. First, allow students to touch various objects blindly. Put the object in a closed box and cut a hole on one of the sides for the student's hand to feel and explore. Alternatively, if touching objects blindly feels overwhelming or intimidating for students, you can give them the object to see first. This creates a sense of safety before exploration begins. Then, instruct them to either close their eyes or blindfold them so that they are focusing only on their sense of touch as they engage with the object a second time. As with the other senses, we suggest focusing on one object at a time to avoid overstimulation. Stick to material or objects that are reminiscent of the book. Some texture recommendations are faux fur, dirt or soil, leaves or pine needles, water, rocks of various textures, sizes, and shapes. Next, provide prompts for deeper analysis. When feeling this object, are there any images from nature or scenes from the book that it reminds you of? How does the feeling of this object make you feel? Is it exciting to touch? Do you feel comforted by its softness or tense because of its roughness? Does the way this object feels make you think of any memories? Describe that memory in 1 or 2 sentences.